right, everybody, we are live on YouTube and on air. We are also recording. And Dr. Brown, you should now have the floor.
All righty, welcome. I'm sure everybody by now is used to Zoom meetings, so welcome to our first Zoom meeting as a committee. So I would like to open this up. I was wondering, Charles, would you be willing to open us with a short prayer?
Yes, sir. Father, we're glad that we can be of service to the citizens and the people of our community. Please be with us and help us to make the appropriate decisions in each and every case. Thank you for your protections to us and to all the people who serve. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Over my left shoulder, the American flag. Everybody ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty.
and justice.
for all.
All righty, thank you all. The minutes were sent electronically. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, we'll accept the minutes as sent out. And approval of the agenda. Are there any other items for the agenda? Hearing none, then we need to have a vote for the approval of the agenda. And I guess that has to be done by roll call. Helen, do you have the roll?
Yes.
Could you call the roll for votes?
Just a second.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
That's okay. Okay, Charles Mayo,
Here,
We're doing a vote for approval of the minutes, and we have to do votes by roll call, by voice vote. So Helen will call your name and you vote aye to approve the agenda or nay to not.
okay, so Charles Mayo,
aye.
okay, Kipling.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
Jim. Jim MacArthur,
Yes.
Dr. Patella,
Aye.
Commissioner Huggins,
Aye.
Dr. Brown,
Aye.
and George Bell.
Yes, to approve the agenda.
Okay, all right, that's it.
All righty, thank you, everybody. So at this time, since this is the first meeting of the year for us, I turn this over to Jordan according to the county procedures, and he's going to run the elections of officers.
Good evening, everyone. Jordan Smith, Assistant County Attorney. By the ordinance, your first meeting in the new fiscal year for the county, you're to elect elect officers for the position of chair and vice chair. Any voting member of this committee can be chair or vice chair. And we'll open up the floor to nominations. We could do that by nominations, or you can do it by a slate of candidates. We're going to have to take a roll call voice vote. So can open up the floor for nominations for the positions.
Hey, Dr. Brown, this is Jim. Can you hear me?
I can.
I'd like to nominate Dr. Michael Brown for the position of chair and Joe Morgan for the position of vice chair.
I guess that's probably in the form of a motion. Is there any second to that?
This is Kipling Clemens. I second that.
Helen, can you call the roll for a vote on the
Yes.
motion for Dr. Brown to be chair and Joe Morgan be vice chair?
Yes. Okay, Charles Mayo,
Aye.
Kip,
Aye.
Bo Morgan,
It's aye.
okay, Jim,
Yes.
Dr. Patella,
Aye.
Commissioner Huggins,
Aye.
Dr. Brown,
Aye.
and George Bell.
Yes.
Has Dr. Silvernail joined? Okay, I didn't think he was here. Okay,
He's on vacation.
okay, I just wanted to be sure. Okay, I'm finished.
All righty. You want to announce that, Jordan, or do you want me to just go right into this?
I will announce that. Congratulations, Dr. Brown, on being an elected
Yeah.
chair again, Joe Morgan, vice chair. And with that, I'll turn the floor back over to newly re-elected chairman, Dr. Brown.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. So, Helen, did anybody notify you ahead of time from the squads wanting to make a comment to the committee?
No, I didn't get anything.
Okay, so we will pass through that. So we'll start out with some items for report. And our first report is the medical director's report. Dr. Patella.
Good afternoon to everybody. First of all, I want to acknowledge some people are in this call from my shop here. Is Dr. Lee Patterson is on our meeting right now. She's the chair of our department, one of our fellow emergency physicians and a strong advocate for EMS and emergency medicine in our region. So thank you for being here, Dr. Patterson. Also in this meeting is Andrew Bullen. Dr. Bullen just joined us in our emergency medicine faculty and EMS division recently in July. He comes from Charlotte, where he finished his training with a subspecialty in emergency medical services, EMS. So he's part of our EMS fellowship. And he's also forming part of our Pitt County crew in the sense that he's gonna be one of our assistant medical directors also, kind of primarily overseeing the 911 center. So he will join me as medical director, Dr. Brian Kitch as associate medical director. And also, you know, Steve Taylor, that's from my office. A lot of you have known him. Additionally, I want to say that one more member of our team is Dr. Nathan Rooney. He's our current EMS fellow for the year 2020-2021. So he'll be here until June 2021, finishing his subspecialty in EMS. So our team has grown since we last met. Other than the introductions, I want to go right into say one of the good things that happened is that we were notified this year that for 6 years in a row, we again received the Mission Lifeline EMS Recognition Award for chest pain treatment in our community for the year 2019 for patients taking care in 2019. I think that's a very good achievement. We have continued to show that between us, the EMS system, and Biden Medical Center, we can provide excellent care for chest pain patients. And we have continued to show that. And I think it's important to show and to recognize the hard work of every EMS professional in the system, 911 dispatcher, administrative person, and hospital personnel that made that happen. So thank you to all. Also, we had our, and I'll say what CARES, our cardiac arrest registry for enhanced survival information or data came back to us this year. This is again for the year 2019. And we are doing very well again this year. Overall, and I have some numbers to share with everybody, we had an overall survival rate of, sorry, I don't want to say the number incorrectly. of 14.3%. I'll put that in perspective. We had 210 cardiac arrests last year. Out of those, we achieved what is called ROS, or return of spontaneous circulation, or a pulse, quote unquote, on the field in 40.5% of those. Out of those, 14.3% made it out of the hospital. And like I've said before, when I tell these numbers off the bat, they might seem low, but they are not. It takes a lot of effort, both from the EMS system and the hospital, to get somebody from being clinically dead, no pulse, to being alive and walking out of the hospital. So that is not small achievement. But if we want to compare numbers, we can compare a little numbers. So I can give you the how we are compared to North Carolina and national average. So if we compare ourselves to the state, our survival rate overall for all comers is 14.2%, like I said. In the state is 12.8, so we are above average. In the nation is 10.4%. And those numbers have been more or less steady over the years. So again, we have been performing above average for state and national numbers for a number of years now since I've been here. Not because of me. Let me be perfectly clear about that. In our ROS numbers, how many patients we achieve pulse before arriving to the hospital, we are 40.8%. State level, 41.3%. National level, 31.8%. Again, we're working very well there on an average on the state, definitely above average on the nation. If we go to what is called sustained survival, which that means somebody that was a witness arrest, somebody that has what they call a shockable rhythm, a heart rhythm that actually we can defibrillate or something, our survival rate is 40% overall versus 33.7% in the state, 32.6% on the nation. Again, above average there. So that's very good. A little more comparisons, if I may, before I bore you all to death. They do compare us by agencies on how much population they serve. Our agency is categorized in the between 100,000 and 200,000 population agencies. Right there, if you look at that, our unstained survival, we are second in that group. And if you go to an overall survival, we're fourth in that group. Bear in mind, I'm going to say that, but to tell you the truth, the second and third agencies on that group are at 15.6% and 52%. We're talking about less than a 1% difference between them. What do I mean with all these numbers? I mean, we're doing very good for cardiac arrest. I'm very proud of the professionals that work in the system, the 911 dispatchers. Obviously, I have to say also the lay people, the people that are willing to do CPR on bystanders, loved ones, friends, unknowns. Without them, we couldn't do this. It is extremely important that we keep cultivating the idea of bystander CPR, our Pulse Point app, which alerts cardiac arrest on public places, that we teach CPR to our kids, to our family, to our loved ones, to the community, because this is what saves people. Most of the cardiac arrests happen at home, not in public areas. And guess where the survival rate is less between public and home? Home. You have a better chance of being alive if there's somebody to witness you go down, willing to do CPR, willing to call 911. So it's very important for all of us to learn CPR, tell that to everybody, and try to make the best that we can. I think the only last thing I would add to this is in a kind of big good news for my EMS program, EMS fellowship program in the department, is that we have, for the last, I don't know how many years, we have had one EMS fellow position over a year. I was just informed today that the accreditation body for residencies and fellowships has granted us approval for a second position. So hopefully for the year 2021, 2022, we'll have 2 fellows, EMS fellows. So that's actually very exciting for us. And that wouldn't have happened without the support of Dr. Patterson that's on this call. And that would be it for me, Dr. Brown. I will not bore you anymore.
Thank you. Not boring at all. Any questions for Dr. Bertella? No, that's really some good news, though. And thank you, and thanks all your colleagues who are on the meeting here tonight as well. All right, so I heard Dr. Silvernail is not here, so we'll skip over him. The EMS Rescue Association report, George Bell.
Nothing to report.
All right. Greenville Fire and Rescue report, Eric Rayner.
I have nothing to report.
All right. The non-emergency report, is Jeff with us?
Hey, good evening.
Hey.
Nothing major to report. I do know that we just went through, Jim, with the franchise renewals. Would it be possible for me to get an updated email contact list so that I can contact the other providers? Because I'm not sure exactly who the contacts are, so I'll be able to report in the meetings. And does anybody have any questions for us on the non-E side?
All right, thanks, Jeff. Is Mackenzie there from Pitt Community College?
Hello, I'm here.
Hi, Mackenzie. Do you have a report from PCC?
We are running EMT classes as hard as we can go. We have a wait list of about 25 students waiting to start our next classes next semester. Right now we're running 2 EMT classes and we're still doing online training. So we're open for business. If anybody needs anything, I try to be as easy to get in touch with as possible. So let me know if y'all need anything.
All right, great. Any questions for Mackenzie? All right, thanks, Mackenzie. The Emergency Management Director report, Randy Gentry.
Hey, good afternoon, Dr. Brown and Oversight Committee. Just 3 items to mention. Most of you probably saw in the news last week where we had a EMS truck that was responding to a call and attempted to avoid striking a deer in the roadway and lost control of the vehicle. So we're dealing with the insurance adjuster now to kind of see what that's going to look like in the end and about getting that truck back up and running or replacement. The other thing is I am preparing a report for the commissioners to present at an upcoming commissioners meeting on the overall system report to kind of give where we are as a system. And that'll be upcoming. And then the other thing is I'm working with the county engineer's office and fleet management to have a contingency fuel plan in the event that we were in some type of shortage or disruption of fuel supplies. But this report would also include the EMS system as well as the volunteer fire service. So we would have a updated plan in place to take care of any fuel shortages that may come up in the future. And that's all I have to report.
All right, thank you, Randy. Any questions for Randy? All right, thank you very much. Our next report is the EMS Coordinator report for Jim MacArthur.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Dr. Brown had asked me to bring a couple of items to report to you guys tonight, and I think the previous meeting and moving forward, we'll try to have a short educational session at each oversight meeting to help the members get more acclimated to the EMS system and what that actually means. We use that word a lot, but we want to make sure we know what it means. So I've got a short PowerPoint. I won't kill you too bad, but we're going to talk about a few things. EMS Agenda 2050, a couple of awards we received. COVID is always on our mind, and I'll give you a little information on what emergency medical dispatch looks like. So hold on to your seats. So EMS Agenda 2050, for those that are familiar with EMS and have been doing this a while, there was a report done mid-90s called the EMS Agenda for the Future that basically a group of EMS professionals, physicians, and other subject matter folks from around the country got together and were talking about what EMS looked like at the time and really where do we need to go, what did we need to do. Our very own Dr. Delbridge, who Dr. Patterson has replaced most recently or is filling in for, was a part of that original group, and their entire basis was to create a bold vision, a creative idea, if you will, of what EMS systems in the future would look like. And the Agenda 2050 is no different. It's quite the creative document. There are 6 primary principles that the folks came up with for the 2050 document. Inherently safe and effective, integrated and seamless. And you can read these here. And basically what they want is creative, innovative, and sustainable programs that reach the most people most efficiently and in the best ways possible to be understanding of what the costs are, but also how do we get out there to those folks? But then how do we take a limited personnel pool with limited resources, make them part of the healthcare system and integrate them into society? So we've got to get out there. We've got to do all of these things. And they use a lot of the normal buzzwords that we think of as being important in society today of things that we need to be looking for. So the objective here is to take these visions and creative thinking from today, turn this into reality. So in 1996, a lot of the things that were talked about then were considered wild and outlandish, but they're really not that unusual. So as we look at the agenda document now, the idea is to not think, well, that doesn't incorporate my level of certification, or it may not be the way we do things today, or they don't even understand the politics of our community. Well, so the idea is think about what it could look like. What's the best way to serve all of the citizens? What are the demographics of our community? How do we get out there? How do we serve these folks and make sure that they get the health care that they need? One example that this group has been very supportive of is community paramedicine. And we'll talk about that a little more later, but those are the innovative ideas that 10 or 15 years ago were completely unheard of. And now it's becoming very normal. And it's really a way that we're serving the whole community without discriminating against anybody. So we have to get out of our mind that EMS is just an ambulance. That's all we do is respond to 911 calls. Our jobs are really in the future deeper than that. And it's something that we'll have to think about. And this document was created to make people think outside the box. I've got several copies available in my office. I'll be happy to send it to anybody. Just shoot me an email, or you can let us know in this meeting, and I'll get you a copy if you'd like to read it. Dr. Brown had a chance to review that over and had asked me to come and just outline what it is for the group. So we'll move right along. Dr. Portela mentioned that with the Gold Plus Award, that is very exciting for our system of care. This is a personal favorite of mine. The Community Paramedic Project was submitted as part of the county's packet for our National All-America Award. We were the only county that participated this year. We were one of 10 national recipients. And folks, I just can't tell you, this is extremely exciting for us. Commissioner Huggins understands. I think she's been a part of this whole group. I think these folks understand the importance of what this means to really put Pitt County on the map nationally, that we have some really creative thinkers and innovative idea makers. and a leadership team that helps to give us the tools that we need to put these things in play and be successful. So also thank you to the, continued thanks to the Vidant Foundation and Vidant Health for supporting that program for us. And just for your information, the community paramedic is a permanent county position now for that full-time FTE. And so we're using grant dollars to try to hire some additional part-time help for her to be able to grow that program. The committee here is very familiar with AVL, so I'll jump right into that. Completely different from community paramedicine, but we started with our AVL dispatching in January of this year. Basically, we are tagging the closest 911 ambulance for calls everywhere in the county. If you'll remember, Greenville Fire and Rescue is not a part of this particular program. So we just dispatch Greenville in the city and the county units outside of that. This summer, we did purchase some additional software that we figured that we needed. So basically, instead of using a phone or an outside GPS unit, the computers in the ambulance can get turn-by-turn directions right on that CAD screen. So it eliminates a little bit of the guesswork there. And our 911 dispatchers are able to move units around to cover units in real time. So they are integrated into the system, if you will. So just for an idea, the map on the right there, everything in the gray shaded areas is what we're talking about. The red shaded areas is the city of Greenville, so we don't dispatch in there. Lessons learned, there's been a few. I didn't want to bring before you a whole laundry list of things that we've learned, but the main things that we've learned was that distance only, if you will, is not realistic. So just because you look to be, as the crow flies, closer to a scene does not mean, based on the time of day or the road conditions, that you would be the closest. So what our GIS department did and 911 staff is they implemented time of arrival, which incorporates the distance, but also roadway traveling distance and speed limit, which it then recommends units for dispatch. And then setting up key coverage areas, meaning that if certain units go out and we exhaust areas of the county, that we have to move ambulances around to cover those areas. This may be hard to see depending on what kind of device you're using, but my goal here was to show you there's some green dots and blue dots and red dots. The green ones are ambulances that are in service. This is a snapshot of the west side of the county yesterday about 7 p.m. So bottom left, Farmville EMS was on a wreck on the highway, and Falkland is in service, and some other things are going on there. But just gives you an idea what you're looking at. Move right into COVID. I'm sure everybody here is tired of hearing about COVID. It's been a hot button topic for several months, but the EMS system here has been largely unscathed to this point. We did have a significantly decreased call volume for 6 to 8 weeks back in the spring. That may affect some billing volume. I'm not sure yet. Would have to take a closer look and work with Brian's staff on that, but I don't know that it really affects us too bad. Our demand for PPE, there's been a national shortage of gowns and masks and face shields and things that we generally have available to paramedics all over, but they've been harder to get. And the state office of EMS has been helping us to source some of those, and state emergency management. So we've not gone without, but they are difficult to come by through our traditional vendors. And so we've been leaning on our state partners to help source some of those things. And we've been helping our partner agencies in the county to obtain those. There are some budget constraints that could be anticipated to the county budget at some point. Tax revenues will probably be decreased a little bit. And then one thing that the county has not experienced too bad is that we've not had any stations out of service. I know that everyone's heard of agencies around the East and the state have EMS providers that are infected and are unable to work for several weeks. There's been relatively few EMS providers that have attracted the COVID infection, but some agencies in the East have stopped allowing their personnel from working part-time. And with the contract rescue squads here in the county, that does affect their personnel availability if those folks are either infected or told that they cannot work extra time. Example, Bertie County was not allowing folks to work extra, and we have some folks that affected. Again, I'm not aware of any stations that were taken out of service. It's just something for us to keep an eye on, depending on how long COVID stays with us and what we are forced to do systemically. So the last thing I really want to discuss with you tonight is a quick education minute. Tonight, I wanted to talk with you about emergency medical dispatch. This is a data-driven scientific model for dispatching of medical calls and really all calls. Pitt County has been doing this since 1999. That was a fact that I did not know until earlier this week. Currently, we have over 20 of our staff certified to do emergency medical dispatch. These are medical practitioners via phone, just like our EMTs or paramedics. They're credentialed by the medical director. So emergency medical dispatch, basically, as you know, ambulances are a finite resource for 911. We have, between the city and the county, there's about 20 ambulances on the road in the middle of the day at any given time. At night, there's a couple of less because we run peak time trucks. It optimizes utilization of those to make sure that we're prioritizing medical conditions. So we get the right resources on the road at the right time. These people are able to give instructions, and Dr. Portella made reference to cardiac arrest and some other conditions. These people give instructions over the phone on how to treat some of the conditions you see on the screen. And basically what we've done, or what they've done, is they've standardized a line of questioning so that we eliminate freelancing, so that during time of emergency or when a caller is very panicked or very stressed out, the 911 communicator has the same line of questioning no matter what. And so by doing that, we eliminate some of the guesswork and we eliminate the wrong answers and the wrong choices most of the time, which is, as with anything, nothing is perfect, but we want to eliminate the mistakes as much as possible. And so that's what EMD does for the system. It may be hard to see the screen. The photo on your left there is basically as soon as the 911 dispatcher picks up the phone, what's the address of the emergency? That's the very first thing they want to know. That's the first question they're going to ask, because they need to know where to get somebody on the road immediately. And then as they go in, so the photo on the right is somebody's in cardiac arrest, and it's telling them, it's prompting them what to say, when to say it, and then they have a series of pick lists based on the answers given to get the most correct answer most of the time. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn accurate. We've got a video I'm going to show to you here tonight. It helps to visualize what we're talking about. I don't know, I'm hoping you can hear it.
County 911. Hi, I just found my father on the ground. I need an ambulance to our house. And what's the address you need an ambulance? It is 1603 Bob White Court. 1603 Bob White Court? Yes. Okay, and what's the telephone number you're calling me from? 555-1234. Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
Pitt County Distribution Time EMS 1603 Bob White Court, 1603 Bob White Court, property is 12.5, in response to a 45-year-old male, unconscious, emergency traffic, Pitt County 10-1448.
My father's getting on the way. I just need to get a little more information from you while we're getting in there, okay? Okay. Is he breathing completely normal? No, it's not. Okay, I want you to say now, every single time he takes a breath in, starting immediately. Start now. Now? Okay. Now. Okay. Now. Okay. Is he still unconscious? Yes.
getting the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next. Are you right by him now? I am. Listen carefully. Lay him flat on his back and remove any pillows. Okay. Now place your hand on his forehead, your other hand under his neck, then tilt the head back. Put your ear next to his mouth. Can you feel or hear any breathing?
No, I don't.
We've already got the ambulance on the way. Listen carefully. I'm going to tell you how to do chest compression. Make sure he is flat on his back on the ground. He's flat on his back?
Yes.
Now place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples. Put your other hand on top of that hand. Let me know when you're doing that. County Assistant, 61 EMS, Assistant Fire, Winterville EMS, and 1470, response 1603, Bob White Court, 1603, Bob White Court, 25-year-old male, cardiac arrest, CPR is currently in progress, emergency traffic, Pitt County standing by 1449. 1, 2, okay, I need you to go faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like that. Keep that. Okay. Keep that pace.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, good job. Keep counting.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Good job.
One,
Keep going. You're doing
2,
great. They're on the way. They're coming as
4,
quickly as they can. But they got to get there fast. 3411 on scene. 1451.
Okay, they're coming in now.
Okay, you did a great job. They're going to take over from here, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Hello, Pitt County. My name is Jimmy Hodges, Deputy EM Director of the 911 Communications Division. What you just saw was a reenactment of a 911 call in real time. Although this was a reenactment and not all 911 calls are this severe in nature, there are some points we all can take away from this as Pitt County citizens. If you do have to call 911, please remember, stay calm so we can understand you. Also, be aware of your location and your surroundings so we can get the right responders to you promptly. And answer our questions to the best of your ability. This way we can help you in your time of need. If you have any questions concerning 911 communications, please call Pitt County Emergency Management at 902-3950.
So that was a PSA that our 911 staff have completed with our public information office. Incredible footage that is very real and helps you to get an idea from a YouTube perspective that was the actual line of questionings that emergency medical dispatch conducts when you activate the 911 system, that they will be asking those questions and another communicator will be dispatching the ambulance or first responders or whatever the need is while they're on the phone. So we're making sure that we're covering both bases to get units on the road. And it doesn't matter if you're in the city of Greenville, in the county, wherever you are, as Dr. Portela alluded to, we get folks on the road quickly every time. So in summary, Pitt County's EMS system is a reasonably high performer. I use the word reasonably just to let you know that we can always do better. There's always a higher ceiling. You know, we can perform better all the time. There are amazing people that work here. We do some really good work. You guys already know that. AVL was a very positive addition. I realize there's limitations. There's limitations to everything, but the standardization and the recognition of efficiency in the system is a very positive addition and will serve us well into the future, regardless of our local boundaries and things that are working with us. The COVID effects, unfortunately, we won't know tomorrow or next week what the effects will be from that, but we will see some of them and hopefully they won't be too severe for us. And just leave you with the last thought: the medical care is more than an ambulance. Our healthcare system starts at the 911 activation and goes all the way to discharge from the hospital. So anybody that's involved with that can be vitally important making sure that we have good outcomes regardless of the call types. So with that, that's all I have for tonight. I try to talk quickly to not take too much of your time, but I want to be thorough. And if you do have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. You can email them in, you can call, come by, we'll get you set up. And we truly are one team, one family, one focus with the same mission to get everything accomplished. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Jim. That was a great report. Is there anybody that wants to ask Jim a question now? All right, hearing none. Thanks again. That was a great update for folks. All right, our last item for report is a financial report. Brian Barnett.
Good afternoon, good evening. I hope everybody can hear me.
We can.
Great. Being that this is September, we've only completed 2 months of this new fiscal year, so I'm not really going to jump into the data so far. I did want to just hit on some points from the year that just ended, FY 2020. We really didn't meet in May, so I'll fill you guys in. As we're closing out the year, I have to look at each of our operating funds to make sure that we are going to stay within budget, and that if we appear to be short anywhere, then I had to make some moves. And one of the moves that we made towards the end of the year, the county's general fund, which is our main operating fund, paid
Uh-oh. Brian, we lost you right at the juicy part.
Okay. Am I back now?
I can hear you, yes. There you go.
All right. So as I was saying, the general fund gave the EMS fund an infusion of money so that we could make it to the finish line on June 30th. We tend to not like to do these type of things, but sometimes you do what you have to do. We have to keep the EMS fund running. That infusion of money actually benefited the EMS fund in the long run, because it allowed us to start this fiscal year off with a certain amount of fund balance, which is our savings for those what ifs and emergencies that may come up from a financial standpoint. So if the general fund had not infused the EMS fund at this point, we would be looking at a negative balance. How local government finances work, even if one fund has a negative balance, the overall county's checking account will keep the system running. So it's never going to be a situation where we're not going to be able to fund EMS. But on paper, we don't want to show those negative balances. So right now, from an unaudited standpoint, we're going through our annual audit right now. We do have a decent amount of savings for their EMS fund. As many as you guys recommended, we did take a tax increase. The best part of taking a tax increase is it allowed us to budget, to create a balanced budget on the EMS fund that does not rely on savings to keep the fund balanced on the books. So prior year, FY20 probably did not end as well as we would like financially, but I think we're starting off on a good foot. As Jim alluded to in his report, we don't know the full financial impact of COVID on all of our funds, including the EMS fund. And I will tell you that our folks who struggle to pay their transport bills, if they were struggling prior to COVID, it's safe to assume they're going to struggle just as much with COVID. So that's something that we continue to monitor. On the tax side, our taxes right now have started strong for the first 2 months. So we do expect that revenue to hit target. But on the transport side, we're just going to keep our eye on it as we move into this fiscal year. So that's really it, unless anybody has any questions.
All right, any questions for Brian?
Yes, I have a question, Dr. Brown.
Go ahead.
Brian mentioned a couple of times fiscal year 2020. I thought fiscal year 2020 just started July 1st. Am I mistaken?
we're now in 2021 from a fiscal year standpoint. So we're just starting off the new year.
Okay. Potatoes. Okay, thank you, Brian.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, then we move into items for decision. We have 2 items for decision tonight. And the first one is reappointment of Jeff White and myself. So Joe, since this involves me, I'm going to have to turn you're running this part over to you. So, okay, so you'll have to, yeah, okay, there you are, you're unmuted. So if you'll ask for a motion for reappointment and go from there.
Okay, do I have a motion for reappointment? And that was Michael Brown and Jeff White, is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
So moved. This is Jim.
This is Jim. So
Second.
Jim's motion, and Kip, you have second, is that correct?
Yes.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, and I guess Helen will have to go through the roll call for voting, right? With you agree with the motion, and nay, you don't.
Okay. Charles Mayo,
Aye.
Kipling. Kipling,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Jim.
Hello.
Hey,
Jim.
Kipling. Aye.
Dr. Portella,
Aye.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Dr. Brown, do you vote or not? I guess you
Yeah, I
don't.
can. I'm not chair now, so yes, aye.
Okay. And George Bell.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion carries, and I now turn it back over to you, Michael.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody,
Yeah.
again. And so the next item for decision, which is to decide what the rest of our meeting schedule will be this year. The new ordinance said we're going to meet 4 times a year.
Hey, Dr. Brown, this is Jim.
Yes.
Got a recommendation that we can put in the form of a motion, or it may just be a recommendation for you, but suggest that we continue with the second Thursday, and we have a meeting in November, which will be November 12, January of 2021, which will be January 14th, and March, which will be March 11th. That would allow us to get budget review in on time for Brian to be able to present things in March, and then we can have some mid-year updates. And then having a September meeting helps us to meet the requirements and the spirit of the ordinance. And I could put that in the form of a motion if you request.
Yeah, please do.
So I would
Is there a
move
sec-
for, yeah, okay, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, is there a second for Jim's motion?
I second.
All right, Mr.
Was
Mayor?
that Charles? Okay.
Yes.
It was. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. Helen, would you call the roll, vote aye if you're in
Okay.
favor of the motion, and nay if you are not?
Okay. Charles,
Aye.
Kipling,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Jim,
Yes.
Dr. Portella,
Aye.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins,
Aye.
Dr. Brown,
Aye.
and George Bell.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, great. So Helen, you'll send that out to everybody, so Everybody
Yes,
knows the date.
I'll email that out to everyone.
And I'll just mention one thing. So typically we've not done our July meeting. We have in the past had a summer meeting. So if you look at that and say, gosh, it seems like a long time between meetings, we've typically not met in July. And if we need to have a meeting, then we can do a called meeting and meet during that time if we need to. All right, great. So any questions or comments from the Oversight Committee members?
Yes, I just want to say, Dr. Brown, and congratulations for your reelection as chair, and to Joe for election of vice chair. I also want to say that to Jim, thank you for the training. It was quite informative. I really like that. I'm glad to hear from Dr. Patella that our cardiac arrest rate, survival rate is good. That's good to know. And also that we're not in a lot of trouble as far as budget. And that we are, as Jim said, looking to the future, what EMS is going to look like 2050. So I'm just, I'm glad to hear, and I'm impressed with the planning and all and everything that's happening with the EMS, especially also the dispatcher program, because that means a lot when that dispatcher gets that phone call and how she performs in getting the ambulance to the person. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for what you do for the citizens of Pitt County.
Michael, this is Joe.
Yeah.
I just, I wanted to, I had written a note. I wanted to say to Commissioner Floyd Huggins that how much we appreciate you guys. If I understood Jim correctly, the community paramedic position is now a full-time county employee, which was one of the recommendations, I think, from this committee, as well as approval of a budget that was supported that kind of request. And so we appreciate it if you can convey that to the other commissioners, if that hasn't already been done. And also want to follow up with congratulations on the recognition and award. Dr. Patella, you just always amaze me with your numbers. I enjoy them. And I just want to thank all of you. It does take a team from the citizens through the medical personnel to have kind of results like this. So I want to thank everybody that's doing this work on a daily basis.
Anyone else have a question or comment?
Yes, I'd like to know on the truck that was damaged, what we hear that it can be sent to me by mail or email, whatever, on the truck that was damaged, and to say that I'm thankful that we have spares.
All right.
Charles, Randy, or myself can reach out to you, give you that information. But yes, that we do have enough spare trucks right now, so that is a blessing. And nobody was hurt. That's even more of a blessing.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, Dr. Brown, I just have one comment. Commissioner Huggins and Joe, we appreciate the kind words. We have a strong staff at the county and in the county, and I think folks work hard to make sure we do a good job. We're not perfect, but we'll always do our best and give it a shot. So thank you for the support from the top down. This definitely helps.
You're welcome.
All right. Hearing no other comments or questions, it is time for adjournment. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All right. So do we have to do a roll call for this?
Who seconded the motion?
Joe.
Who?
Joe.
Oh, okay. All right. Do we have to have a roll call vote?
All I can say is the general statute says all votes must be by roll call. I have seen some boards just adjourn, and as an attorney, that's not going to cause me to jump up and down and say you can't do that. Is there
anybody against adjourning right now? All right, the vote is unanimous. So thank you, everybody.
All right.
We will see you in November, and we'll get a little more additional information out to you as well. But thanks everybody for attending. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, Michael.